Listen to this story and tell me what you think will happen to Jennifer, the side chick. Richard Okoye was a man every woman noticed. At 38, he had the charm of a movie star, the confidence of a billionaire, and the smile that could melt any heart. He wore designer suits, drove the latest black Mercedes, and spoke with the calm voice of someone who always got what he wanted. From the outside, it looked like Richard had everything: a big business, a bigger house, and a beautiful wife named Amanda. Amanda was 29, soft-spoken, graceful, and kind. She was also the only daughter of former Governor Matthew, a powerful man known across the country for his wealth and influence. When Richard married Amanda, it was a grand wedding. Politicians, celebrities, and businessmen filled the event. People called it the wedding of the year. Some even said Richard was lucky to have won Amanda's heart. But inside the mansion walls, things were not as perfect as they seemed. Amanda truly loved Richard. She believed in their marriage. She smiled through every event, made their home beautiful, and treated the staff with kindness. Every morning, she greeted the maid, Sarah, with a warm smile. She made sure dinner was served on time, and she even joined Richard on business trips just to be supportive. But Richard, he was a different story. He loved women, always had. Even before the marriage, he had dated models, nurses, bankers, and even his secretary. When he met Amanda, he saw more than beauty. He saw power, he saw money, and most importantly, he saw an opportunity. In truth, Richard didn't marry Amanda because of love. He married her because of her father. Governor Olenreju had everything: a string of luxury apartments in Lagos, oil blocks in Port Harcourt, and a reputation strong enough to open doors for anyone close to him. Richard knew that being the governor's son-in-law would change his life forever, and it did. His company got new contracts. Government officials now answered his calls. Clients trusted him more. The money flowed like a river. But Richard's appetite for women didn't change. In fact, it got worse. While Amanda stayed faithful at home, Richard found new ways to sneak out. Sometimes he lied about late business meetings. Other times, he told Amanda he was traveling out of town. But in truth, he was visiting Jennifer. Jennifer was 26. She was light-skinned, curvy, and had the kind of face that turned heads everywhere she went. She was not just beautiful, she was smart too. But Jennifer didn't want to be a side chick forever. She wanted the life Amanda had. She wanted to live in the mansion, drive the Mercedes, and be the real Mrs. Okoye. One evening, after dinner, Amanda sat on the balcony with a cup of tea. The wind was cool, and the city lights below looked like stars. Richard wasn't home. He had told her he had an important business dinner. Amanda believed him. She always believed him. Inside the kitchen, Sarah, the maid, was cleaning the dishes. She had worked with Amanda for over 4 years. Sarah was 32, quiet, smart, and observant. She knew something wasn't right. Richard was always coming home late. Sometimes he didn't come home at all. And when he did, his shirt smelled of perfume that wasn't Amanda's. Sarah didn't say anything. It wasn't her place. But she kept her eyes open. That same night, Richard was at a hotel in Victoria Island. He wasn't alone. Jennifer was there too, lying beside him in a red silk dress, her fingers tracing his chest. "When are you going to stop pretending?" Jennifer whispered. "Pretending about what?" Richard asked with a lazy smile. "You don't love her. You never did. So why are you still there?" Richard sighed. "It's not that simple." Jennifer sat up. "No, Richard, it is. You're married to her because of her father. We both know that. But what about me? I've been with you for 2 years now. I want more." He looked at her. "Jennifer." "No," she interrupted. "I want to be your wife. I want what Amanda has." Richard didn't reply. He looked out the window, pretending not to hear her. but deep inside, a seed had been planted. Back at home, Amanda waited in bed, staring at the ceiling. She didn't know why she felt uneasy. Maybe it was the way Richard had kissed her cheek without looking into her eyes, or maybe it was the way he always left his phone face down. Still, she prayed. "God, please protect my marriage," she whispered before closing her eyes. The next morning, Richard returned. He looked tired, but still managed to wear a fake smile. "Sorry, babe," he said as he entered the bedroom. "Dinner ran late. We had to discuss contracts." Amanda nodded. "I kept food for you." "Thanks," he said, already walking into the bathroom. Sarah watched him from the hallway, her hand still holding a mop. Something about him felt different. His smile was too stiff. His eyes looked away too quickly. And Sarah's instincts were rarely wrong. The Okoye mansion stood tall and proud in a quiet neighborhood in Ikoi. With its golden gates, marble floors, and white-painted pillars, it looked like a dream from the outside. But inside, the walls held secrets, whispers, and broken promises. Richard's life had become a web of lies. Every day, he told Amanda one story and told Jennifer another. He was living two lives, one as a loving husband and the other as a secret lover. And somehow, he thought he could keep them both going forever. Amanda had started to notice small things. Richard's shirts sometimes smelled of strange perfume. He was always texting, and he quickly locked his phone whenever she walked into the room. He no longer joined her for morning prayers, and even when they sat beside each other, it felt like he was far away. "Are you okay?" she asked him one Saturday morning as they had breakfast in the garden. Richard smiled. "Of course, just stressed. The office has been crazy." Amanda nodded. "Maybe we should take a trip, just the two of us." Richard paused for a moment. "Maybe," he said, then sipped his coffee and changed the topic. Deep down, Amanda felt the distance growing, but she was raised to believe that a wife must be patient. Her mother used to say, "Men are like wind. Sometimes they blow away, but with prayer and love, they return." So Amanda prayed more and waited. Jennifer, on the other hand, wasn't waiting for anything. She was tired of being the secret, tired of sneaking around, tired of pretending. Richard had promised her many things, but she was done with promises. She wanted results. One afternoon, she walked into Richard's Lecky office unannounced. Her fitted green gown hugged her curves, and her heels clicked loudly on the floor. The secretary looked up, surprised. "Madam, do you have an appointment?" Jennifer smiled. "He'll want to see me." And she was right. When Richard saw her, he stood up from his chair, surprised but excited. "Jennifer? What are you doing here?" "We need to talk," she said, walking past him into the office. He shut the door behind them. "You can't just show up like this." She folded her arms. "Why not? You act like I don't exist in public, Richard. You've been promising me the world for 2 years. I want to know where I stand." Richard rubbed his forehead. "Jennifer, we've talked about this." "No, you've talked. I've listened. Now I'm done listening." He sighed. "Please, don't do this here." Jennifer stepped closer. "Then tell me when. When will I stop being your dirty little secret? I want a life with you. I want the mansion. I want your name. And I want what Amanda has." Richard looked at her, unsure of what to say. He knew Jennifer wasn't bluffing. And the worst part? A part of him wanted everything she was asking for. A part of him liked the danger, the chase, the thrill of it all. Later that night, Richard came home to find Amanda reading in bed. "You're home late," she said gently. "Traffic," he replied. She looked up at him. "Can we talk?" He froze for a second, then nodded. Amanda placed her book on the table. "Do you still love me?" Richard blanked. "Of course I do. Why would you ask that?" "You've changed, Richard. You don't talk to me. You don't touch me. You're never around. I feel like I'm living with a stranger." He sat beside her. "I've just been under pressure, Amanda. You know business hasn't been easy." "But we have everything," she whispered. The house, the cars, the staff. What more do you need? Richard had no answer, so he leaned over and kissed her forehead. We'll be fine, I promise. Amanda nodded, but her heart felt heavy. Outside their door, Sarah the maid was walking past when she paused. She looked at the closed door for a moment, then continued down the hallway with the clean laundry. Sarah had seen enough strange things in this house to know that promises didn't always mean peace, and she had started to listen more carefully. The other day, she had found a strange earring in the living room, one that didn't belong to Madame Amanda. She didn't say anything. A week passed, but the tension inside the Okoye mansion only grew heavier. Amanda was smiling less and praying more. Richard was drinking more and talking less. And Sarah, the housemaid, was watching everything, quietly, carefully, like a hawk waiting for a storm. On the surface, nothing had changed. Amanda still made breakfast with love. Richard still dressed in his best suits. The mansion still smelled of air freshener and money. But beneath it all, something was building. Something dangerous. It started with a phone call. Richard was in his home office, staring at his laptop, when his phone rang. He picked it up quickly when he saw the name. Jennifer. Hello? I'm outside, she said. What? Are you crazy? You can't just show up here. I'm not staying, she replied. Just come to the gate. 2 minutes. Richard looked around, made sure Amanda was still in the kitchen, and quietly walked out the back door. Jennifer was leaning on her red Corolla, wearing tight jeans and dark glasses. She looked angry and impatient. You're lucky I didn't walk into the living room, she said coldly. Why are you doing this? Richard hissed. This is not part of the plan. Exactly. There is no plan, Richard. I'm tired of the lies. He tried to calm her. You know Amanda's father just handed her 2 new properties last week? One in Maitama, the other in Lekki Phase 1. That's over $400 million in property. Do you know what that means? Jennifer removed her glasses. Her eyes were cold. It means the longer we wait, the more she takes, and we stay stuck in the dark. I want out, with you, and I want her out of the picture. Richard froze. What are you saying? Jennifer leaned in. I'm saying I want her gone, for good. His heart beat faster. You're talking about murder? I'm talking about freedom, she said slowly. You can call it whatever you like. Richard looked at the ground. His thoughts were flying. I need time, he whispered. You've had time, Jennifer said. Now make a decision. She got into her car and drove off, leaving Richard sweating in the morning sun. That night, Richard couldn't sleep. He sat in his study with a glass of whiskey, staring at the wall. Jennifer's words kept playing in his head. I want her gone. Gone. Amanda entered the room quietly. Honey? Richard jumped. Oh, you scared me. She looked concerned. What's wrong? You've been acting strange. I'm fine, he said quickly. Just tired. Amanda nodded. Daddy called. He wants us to come for a dinner party next week. He said he has another gift for us. Richard forced a smile. That's great. Amanda looked at him closely. You sure you're okay? I am, he replied. I just need rest. She walked over and hugged him. We can survive anything, right? Richard didn't reply. His heart was pounding too loud. Upstairs, Sarah was folding clothes in Amanda's room. The window was open, and the night was quiet, but Sarah was not calm. She had seen Richard talking to a woman earlier, one she had never seen before. She had also seen Amanda's earrings missing last week, and later found one in the visitor's toilet. She now believed something was very, very wrong. The next day, while cleaning the dining room, she overheard Richard on the phone. He didn't know she was there. I just need to know if it's strong enough. Yes, something that works quietly. I don't want her to feel anything. Sarah froze behind the curtain. Her heart skipped. She didn't hear the rest, but that was enough. That evening, she searched Richard's bar drawer when no one was looking. And there it was, a small, clear bottle with no label, a strange liquid inside. Sarah stood there holding it in her gloved hands. Her stomach turned. Was this what she thought it was?
Downstairs, Amanda was planning a surprise dinner for Richard. She had told the cook to make his favorite, pepper chicken and fried rice. She even brought out the special wine they drank on their wedding night. "I want us to start fresh," she said to Sarah with a soft smile. "He's been stressed. Maybe he just needs love." Sarah smiled back, but her chest felt heavy. She wanted to scream. She wanted to warn her, but something held her back. Instead, she watched and waited. Later that night, the table was set, candles lit, soft music played in the background. Amanda wore a silver gown and looked stunning. Richard arrived, pretending to be surprised. He kissed her cheek and sat down. "This looks amazing," he said. "You deserve it," Amanda smiled. In the kitchen, Sarah stared at the wine glasses. Her hands were shaking. She had seen Richard whisper something to the cook earlier. She didn't know what, but she had her guess. She quickly poured the wine while nobody was watching. Then she did something bold. She switched the glasses.
One for Amanda, one for Richard. Then she carried the tray out with a smile. "Your wine, sir. Ma." Richard raised his glass. "To us." Amanda smiled. "To forever." They both drank. 10 minutes later, Richard coughed. Then coughed again. Then he dropped his fork. "Richard?" Amanda asked. He held his stomach, his eyes wide. He gasped. Then he collapsed to the floor. Amanda screamed. The entire mansion went into panic. Amanda dropped to her knees beside Richard, her hands trembling as she touched his face. "Richard, Richard, can you hear me?" His lips were turning pale, and his eyes were rolling back. Foam formed at the side of his mouth. He shook violently, then went still. "Help!" Amanda screamed. "Somebody help me!" Sarah rushed in from the dining room, already dialing the emergency number. The other house staff came running. In minutes, a driver pulled the car around, and they carried Richard into the back seat. Amanda climbed in beside him, holding his hand tightly. He didn't respond. The driver sped through the night, running red lights as Amanda sobbed uncontrollably. "Please don't die, Richard, please." At St. Grace Hospital, the nurses moved quickly. Richard was wheeled into the emergency room. Amanda stood outside, shivering, not just from fear, but from shock. Her silver gown was stained with sweat and spilled wine. Her world had changed in one instant. 2 hours later, a doctor came out. "Are you the wife?" he asked gently. "Yes," Amanda answered, standing quickly. "Is he okay?" The doctor nodded slowly. "He's alive, but the substance he ingested was very strong. He's stable for now, but he has suffered some internal damage. His lower body is unresponsive. We will have to run more tests, but he may not walk again." Amanda covered her mouth with both hands. "Jesus." "I need to ask you something," the doctor added. "Did he take any medication or eat anything unusual tonight?" Amanda blinked. "We had dinner and wine, that's all." The doctor looked concerned. "Please let the hospital police unit take a full statement. This may be a poisoning case." Amanda sat back down, her mind spinning. Poison? Why would anyone poison Richard? Back at the mansion, Sarah was cleaning the dining area when she found the half-empty bottle of wine. Her fingers shook as she picked it up. Then she went to Richard's office and opened his drawer again. The small bottle was no longer there. She put 2 and 2 together. She had switched the glasses. She was sure of it. And now Richard was in the hospital, unable to move. The next morning, Amanda returned home, still in her silver gown. Her makeup was smudged. She looked like a ghost. Sarah brought her a cup of tea, but Amanda couldn't drink. "Sarah," she said in a broken voice, "the doctor said Richard was poisoned." Sarah kept her face calm. "That's terrible, Ma." "I don't understand. We were having a good night. He even told me he was happy." Sarah lowered her eyes. "Madam, can I ask something?" Amanda nodded. "If someone wanted to poison you, how would they do it?"
Amanda looked up, confused. "What are you saying?" Sarah stepped closer. "I think the wine was poisoned, and I think he drank the wrong glass." Amanda stared at her. "Are you sure? I saw him whispering to the cook earlier. I also found this in his drawer 2 nights ago." Sarah reached into her apron and pulled out the small, empty bottle she had kept. Amanda took it, her hands shaking. Oh my God! Tears filled her eyes. She stood and rushed to the guest room where Richard kept some of his secret things. Sarah followed. They opened the bottom drawer of his locked travel case and found a paper with names of different liquid substances and dosages. Amanda collapsed onto the bed. "He was going to kill me." Sarah looked away. "I didn't know for sure. That's why I switched the glasses. I just wanted to be safe." Amanda sat still, too stunned to speak. The man she loved, the man she defended before her family, had tried to kill her. And the worst part? It was for another woman. She sat quietly for nearly an hour. Then she stood up and changed into a fresh outfit. She picked up her phone and dialed her father. "Daddy," she said calmly, "I need your help. Something terrible has happened." That afternoon, Amanda, her father, and 2 detectives visited the hospital. Richard was awake but weak. He couldn't sit up. His face was pale, and his hands shook when he tried to move. When he saw Amanda, he tried to smile. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "I don't know what happened." Amanda stepped closer. "Don't lie, Richard. Please don't." He looked confused. "I don't understand." She dropped the small bottle on his blanket. "I know you planned to poison me. I know Jennifer was involved. But you drank the wrong glass." Richard's face froze. The detective stepped forward. "Mr. Richard Okoye, you are under investigation for attempted murder. You have the right to remain silent." "No, wait!" Richard shouted, but his voice cracked. Amanda turned away. She didn't want to hear his excuses. Not now. Maybe not ever. As they walked out of the room, Richard screamed after her. "Amanda, I didn't mean to. It was Jennifer. She made me." But Amanda didn't look back. Outside the hospital, the sun was hot, but Amanda felt cold. She had survived, but her heart had been poisoned too, by the one she loved the most. As for Jennifer, a story for another day. Let me know what you think will happen to Jennifer, the side chick.